The Jacksonville Jaguars have taken advantage of new NFL rules that allow them to start interviewing coaches 2 weeks before the end of the season after they unceremoniously dismissed Urban Meyer earlier in the season. Joining me now from Locked On Jaguars, Tony Wiggins. And Tony, we saw the list, at least so far, of the guys that the Jaguars are interested. It includes your guy, Jim Caldwell, who you said on this show should be a leading candidate for the job. Also, Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, among others. Which of the names on the list that we saw stood out to you?
Quite a few of them. I just think that there's this thing that people think you have to do is you have to get a quarterback or a former quarterback or somebody who's an offensive guru. And then I think of Mike Tomlin, who's a defensive guy, and I think of Bill Belichick, who's a defensive guy, and I think of a lot of the successful coaches around the league that are defensive oriented that have a strong offensive staff and basically turn that side of the ball over to those people. So the average fan wants to react and just get a former quarterback. So Kellen Moore is somebody that's very popular with a lot of people. Doug Peterson is very popular because it was what he was able to do in Philly. And of course, Jim Caldwell, he won Joe Flacco a Super Bowl MVP, So people are saying if he can do that, they all have little warts. They all have little things that concern folks, but I still am a big favor of Caldwell because I think he could leave a lasting impression. I think if he walks away 4 years from now, they could just continue on with what he was doing as opposed to rebooting it.
Another part of this that I think has been underreported, and I know you think is important in all of this, the current GM, Trent Baalke, who had plenty of problems in San Francisco managing relationships. Let's just say that about his time with Jim Harbaugh and everything was going on with 49ers ownership at that time. There is this feeling among media, among fans, among people around the league that keeping Baalke in place could hurt their coaching search. What's going on there?
I think it probably could. And where it'll hurt, I don't think it'll hurt them in the interview process. It'll hurt in two ways. One, it'll hurt if they really like a guy and he has multiple options. Let's just say Chicago calls and he prefers the GM in Chicago. Chicago's another team with a young quarterback too, and that's a very attractive job for that reason. So that's where it could help him if you give a guy a choice and he chooses to work with someone who's more favorable to him. The other place it could hurt is they could come in and make demands and say, look, I need more control and he's going to basically work for me and I'm not going to work for him. And then that will eliminate them if Shad Khan already has it in his mind that he's going to let Baalke be basically the vice president of everything. That could start to limit and diminish who they have the chance to get when what they are doing right now, they're in the catbird seat because they can go first. And when you go first, you ought to take advantage of it. But if now you get rid of that advantage by giving a guy something that he has to think about, then you could mess your chances up.